Thank you both. Anyone else need Kleenex out there? Thank you for being here, and Marty and Cassandra keep thanking me for inviting them, and I keep thanking them for being here to bless our community. So you heard the official bio, but what I wanted to say about these souls is this. I met them long ago. We were talking last night. When did we meet? Late 1990s is what we figured out. And they're a part of my spiritual path. Wherever I would go, we'd bump into each other. Whether it was CSL in San Jose, Heart Space Teachings, Agape. So they're part of my journey. And in one way, it feels like none of us have aged a day. And in another way, I see and I feel how far we've come on this journey together. We've all done the work and practiced our practice and become more aware of ourselves and our community and what we're here to do and be. So, my friends, my sisters, my colleagues, thank you for being here. Cassandra's going to do the talk, and Marty's going to help later with the collection. So let's welcome Cassandra right now to inspire us with her words.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I really am grateful to be here, and you're going to have to forgive me. I have one of those soft voices where everyone just kind of goes, huh? So I'll try and be as mindful as possible and project my voice, and I may do the Jack Benny imitation and hold the mic by my... Okay. Yes, right. So we're today very keenly aware that we are living in uncertain times. The corporate news media is constantly pushing this fear-based narrative, giving us opinions that pull at our emotions rather than just giving us facts. It's as if we're tuning into a created drama that's designed to pull us out of our spiritual center into agitation and activation, keeping us distracted from our connection with Source. Social media provides direct access to our nervous systems through the optic nerve, immediately inducing a reflective response, producing anxiety levels that are off the charts. And worry has become a way of being for a lot of people. Fear and anger have replaced faith and peace. Uncertainty has become the unspoken villain because we fear the unknown. We see uncertainty as something missing, as a darkness. Fear of the unknown is a primitive survival instinct. In our distant past, we needed to be hypervigilant to prevent being eaten by the lion, crushed by the python, or mauled by the bear. But today, the fear is tied to not knowing if our job is stable, if people stop talking when we walk into a room, if we can make the next house payment, if the freeway's backed up to a standstill and we're going to be late to that appointment, or if there's talk of war. It can also mask itself as political strife. Them versus us. But if we allow it, it causes a tension that we just can't carry long term with any kind of peace. And the result on our nervous system and brain is the same as that primitive fear, because our system, our body and our brains don't know the difference. Fear is fear. So the question becomes, how do we deal with uncertainty in a way that's not surface level, that doesn't activate that primitive fear response, that gives us the ability to move powerfully in the face of not knowing what comes next? We have to remember that thoughts are things. Thinking plus belief is creative, even if we're not praying. We must be very mindful of our subconscious minds, which is responsible for our experience. That vicious cycle of certainty where I know exactly what this is. I know exactly how this is going to go. That locks out all possibility. What we fail to remember is that even this reaction to uncertainty is creative. Scientists have found that particles come into existence only when the observer is looking. That means our expectation and our looking brings the reality forward. The universe is responding to our thoughts, belief, and expectations, right? So in his book, Don Miguel Ruiz Jr., son of the father of the Four Agreements, he tells us that the field of our responsibility lies from us and ends at the tip of our fingers. Attachment to the outcome is where we create anxiety, but our responsibility is to know ourselves so well that we become intentional with what we put out into the field. As Jesus said, know thyself. In order for us to be that responsible, Jesus also said, physician, heal thyself. Because we're broadcasters as well as receivers, it becomes our mission to bring ourselves into coherence with our highest spiritual expression so that what we broadcast is beneficial for ourselves and for others. And if you ask me, that is how we change the planet. It all starts right here. So embrace the void. And the void is that liminal space where nothing's defined. Anything can happen. Anything can be true. And that challenges us so greatly because we need to have input. We crave categorization. We need to name things. Because we have this innate need to know if there's a danger or not. So from a theoretical perspective, that mystery is a profound divine truth that can't be fully understood by human reason alone. It can only be known by revelation from the divine. And in Native American tradition, it's called the Great Mystery. It's the name for the Creator. And it's not given a definite name because to do so locks it into form, thereby limiting it. But of course, thanks to the language of category, we struggle with the abstract. We need things to fit neatly into a box, and we're addicted to categorization. If you look at all the labels that are thrown at us these days, it's dizzying. We claim unity, while when we see the face of a stranger, there's that instance, who are you? What are you? Are you safe? Friend or foe? And we fight over our labels so that we can separate from each other even more. Why are we doing that? We fight to be right in our interpretations of the liminal space as well. They call it the darkness or, emptiness. Being in the void of uncertainty where nothing is defined, it can be terrifying if we allow our fear to rule over us. So the adage, we know the adage, fear is nothing more than false evidence appearing real. That carries real weight in this philosophy because our thought is creative. But rather than the rules and dogmas to follow, we are encouraged to become the masters of our minds, to be conscious of the seeds that we're planting, to change the nature of our persistent thought so that what we reap is the result of intentional mental action. Yet somehow when we experience fear, sometimes we take the thought that's tied to that particular emotion as truth. When we know that what we give our attention to magnifies, but it's biological. We feel the fear and the thought that's married to it, and we don't take the time to evaluate it and separate them out and then choose what thought we want to follow. Our agreement is what makes it real and gives it power over us. Being present to our emotions in real time gives us the power to evaluate them and question their validity as they occur, and then we get to choose our responses to them. That takes a lot of practice. A few years ago, Martha, I call her Marty, her company has this thing where if your project ends, it's incumbent on you to find your next project. So you've got to update your resume, find another project, find someone on that project who may know you. If you've been around long enough to have the contacts. She did. 27 years? 28 years at that company. After 4.5 years, I was at that company for 4.5 years. When I hit the bench, they give you 3 weeks, 21 days to find your next project. I didn't know anybody. So I had one HR person trying to help me. She didn't know me. So, after that 21 days, I was out. And I felt really slighted by that. So when that was happening to Marty, she's a subject matter expert in her field. She has the best reputation. People love her. They love her work. She's impeccable. So 21 days on the bench to find a new project. My response? I was mad. Like, how dare they put her on the bench? Don't they know what a find she is? Right? I took my past and put it right out there in front. And her response? Tip of the finger. Oh, well, I did what I could do. She had made all of her contacts. She'd updated her resume. Nothing was happening. It was getting close. And every day I'd come home. You hear anything? Anything? Nope. That company. Me just, ooh. You know how you get when your loved one is being slighted and you want to be protective and help. On day 18, she signed separation papers with HR. So now I'm really hot. I'm hopping mad now. Because there's that uncertainty of what are we going to do if she gets laid off? I can't sustain us both. And, she didn't deserve that. 28 years, right? And should. So on day 20, 21 days is the last day. She signed separation papers on a Tuesday. On Thursday, an old manager of hers, what? On Wednesday, an old manager of hers, contacted her and said, Martha, we want you on this project. And so day 20, which was the very next day, Friday, she had a new project. And she's been there with 1 day to spare. So this whole time of being in the void, I'm bouncing all over the place. I'm hot, and she's just right here. I've done everything. She knew herself. She managed herself. She managed her emotions. And God took care of the rest. So, if we can train ourselves to be neutral observers of our emotions, question where they're coming from, like evaluate them in the moment, real time, we can begin to have more agency in how we respond to the undefined. So right now, I'd like you, if you choose to close your eyes and do a very short meditation with me. Right now, in this moment, go within. See if you can locate your fear. Just look at it. Does it have a color? Does it have a shape? What quality does it have? Breathe with me while you do this. Is there a texture? Can you feel it in your body somewhere? Is there a sound? If it scares you, send it love and just keep looking at it. Don't respond to it, just look at it with love in your heart. Smile because you see it for what it is. The more you look at it, the smaller and less imposing it becomes. Because in this very moment of now, right here, right now, you're safe. You're safely sitting in a building surrounded by people. Many of them you know, some you don't. But you're all here because you agree on something good. So even though you're looking at this fear that's inside of you that's dwindling because you know that you're safe right here and right now, perhaps whatever this thing that you feel as fear is simply a lie. It isn't true, but it keeps you feeling small and powerless. Keep looking at it and sending it love, while smiling and recognizing that you are far more powerful and stronger than it is trying to tell you. Fear only serves its purpose when there is real physical danger present. It moves you into action that can save your life. Those emergency moments, we don't question fear. We move because our survival instinct has kicked in. In those moments, fear is real, but perhaps everything else is just a lie because fear wants to remain in control. So don't agree with it. Know that you are the source of your power and your strength, and that the creative process flows through you. So take a deep breath. And feel yourself in your chair. Safe and secure in this moment. And open your eyes. That's our responsibility. Being present to what's going on inside. We react to our emotions instinctively and think that that's true because we feel it so powerfully in our bodies. But it's just physical. And when we look at the judgment or the fear and question it, do I have to follow this right now? Do I have to agree with it? Is that person who's looking at me funny really giving me the side eye, or are they just daydreaming and happen to be looking my way? Understanding where our responsibility is to the tips of our fingers, releasing everything else to the divine, is where we find peace in the void. By knowing ourselves, being present to our emotions, maintaining states of release, trust, forgiveness, and gratitude, we can cultivate a life of peace. Through knowing ourselves gracefully, lovingly, and supportively, we can grow into the expressions we most admire in our spiritual teachers and masters. Because one thing I've noticed, that those who are at peace, they don't resist what is. They don't try to change the outer world through force. They change how the world occurs to them. In the void is where we can change how uncertainty occurs to us. When we are present and not afraid, when we know our thoughts and reject false ones, when we embrace the void as possibility, we can play with it, grow in it, and broadcast our highest desires into it, so that when we come out of the void, we're already building a momentum towards the manifestation of that which we choose to see. Let's pray. I'm so grateful to be here in this room with these beautiful souls who are gathered at this time of rising consciousness, building on the field of awareness. Building and recognizing the truth of the one, that one creative power, that one source of all creation, the one source of all beingness that we call God, that is known as the great mystery, that we call creator, that we call source, that goes by many other names in every culture around the world. That is so similar because we are all one. And because we are united with this source, in this field, arising out of the field, carrying its same qualities. We know that when we are faced with an abstract such as the void, such as uncertainty, such as something that's not defined, we know and claim the good of it because it's all part of God. So we can release the fear, question it as it comes up. We question our doubts. We question the judgment. And we choose a higher perspective. And in so doing, we know that we are carried by God. We are kept safe. And we know that we have the power to create a future that we choose, that brings us to a higher place of service, a higher place of expression. I'm so grateful for this. To be been bestowed with this power by God. I'm so grateful to have the knowledge of knowing who I am and who we all are. And when I rest in this truth, my gratitude just grows and grows. Giving thanks for giving thanks for the sacrifice of our fallen soldiers. Also giving thanks for the sacrifice of the Gold Star families who let their soldiers go off to serve and who are left to carry their legacy. I honor all of them. So it's with the deepest gratitude that I just release my word. I let go, I rest in the truth, knowing that the word has already been acted upon. It is already done. So together we say, and so it is.